Unlock the secret to a full service design process that will leave your clients raving and your profits soaring. We'll raise a glass while we think tank how to bring more joy, more abundance, and more balance to your interior design firm. I'm Sandra Funk, and this is Design Sips. Cheers.
Cheers, Sandra.
Ta-da!
Okay, I'm excited to dig into this topic. So let's answer designers' questions.
I'm in.
Ava asks, how can I systematize my design process when all my projects are so different?
Okay, Ava, the truth of the matter is they're not that different, right? When we bring this, take it to 3,000 feet, look at this big picture, they're really not that different. We're gonna be potential client process, meeting the client, getting to know them, and then we're gonna go through phases of design, which we're gonna dig into more deeply here. But I'm gonna show you by the end of this episode that your design the process of design is repeatable. It is something you can systematize and do over and over and over again, thus becoming more efficient, more profitable, and having a defined process that your clients will love, because clients love to know that there is a clearly defined way that design happens instead of feeling like it's just totally creative off the cuff and we'll know when we know and it'll cost what it costs. That's not that comfortable for clients. So we want to make sure that we put it in a little bit more of a container, and then also when you get this systematized, you actually can be even more creative with the design because you know exactly what you're doing next. You don't have to worry and wonder what the next steps are business-wise. When that's all locked down, you really can spend more time on the design. So the creativity soars, and so do the profits.
Exactly. Okay, so Sandra, when in your career did you realize, wait a second, this can be repeated and
all systematized? Mm-hmm. So in the beginning, I was the exact same way that Ava was. I thought every single project was, as Julianne says, a unique butterfly, a special snowflake. Anyway, yeah. They were all totally different to me, and I thought that not one of them could ever be the same. And I think it became clear to me that when I first started having employees and interns and staff, that I had to write down what was supposed to happen next. And the next thing I know, we were getting repeatable processes and systems were locking down, and I was seeing the bigger picture. Finally getting out of the weeds, when I started to delegate and have a little bit of a team, I could finally see the bigger picture of what needed to happen next and next and next, and I had to document it in order to grow. And so then it just became this beautiful beast of getting it all locked down and documented so that the team could grow, and then it was multiple designers and assistants and interns, and off we go, off to grow.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. How did you come to phasing your design process?
Well, the phases really happen because it's easier for the clients to understand in the bite-sized chunks. It's also important for us to understand what design actions happen at what time in the process. And so when we put them into phases, it ends up going from 125 tasks that need to be done to we're completing this phase and we're on to the next. So it's more along the lines of bite-sized chunks, items that really go together, having to have the full conceptual design completed and approved before moving on to detailed design. That's a really important phase switchover. I would say that's one of the most important. And same thing though, you don't leave the potential client process until your design agreement is signed and your deposit is paid, and then you move into conceptual design. So these gates or barriers inside of your business help you stay true to yourself, because God knows back in the day, I would have a potential client that I was so excited about, and they would click approve on the design agreement, and then they'd be like, the check is in the mail, and I'd be picking out product for them. And when you have these gates or these phases that are clearly defined, it keeps you from working ahead of where you're supposed to be in the project, right? So it's good for everyone involved. And especially, again, when you have a team, that excitement of the new project and being oh, this sofa's gonna be perfect, I'm just gonna see if I can get a quote on that and da-da-da. Well, we don't even have the check in the mail yet, right? We're getting quotes on and picking fabrics for, no. One thing before the other, cart before the horse, the whole thing. Yes. With the cart before the horse. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the metaphors.
Yes.
Never that good.
If you would like to hear her butcher more metaphors, please hit the subscribe button.
There's more. There's tons more.
But yes, hit the subscribe button and you'll be notified in your inbox whenever there's a new episode of Design Tips.
Indeed.
Okay, so let's dive into these phases. And before we jump in, I know a lot of questions will come up naturally for designers. So why don't we tell them first where they can get your actual process before we dive into it at the high level.
So like the whole thing, like the whole kit and caboodle. Okay, so all the tasks, all the details, all the templates, all the gates and the compartments and what happens for second and third, it's all inside the interior design standard. Line by line, by detail, by email template, the whole thing. The concept behind all of it, the why we do it, the way we do it, and exactly how to do it. Editable, drop into your firm, ready to rock. All there. So just check out interiordesignstandard.com.
Yes.
For everything.
Please do. And it is, you can reserve your spot, which we highly recommend, and hundreds and hundreds of designers have done it now.
Yes. So this process is like rock solid. All the kinks have been worked out. Like it is such a smooth, beautiful process for interior design.
Okay, let's dive in. So your first phase is conceptual design, and this is after the potential client process, the client's been onboarded, so we've gathered some initial information, measured the space, and now we're into conceptual. So tell us high level what happens in this phase.
So conceptual design is all about making sure that we have our aesthetic direction, our overall functional floor plan, and our budget set. And that's really what we're trying to get done. We're trying to make sure that we get to that place where we are reconfirming those details together with the client. So basically, in intake, we're taking all of their input, what they dream and desire and want for their home. We're taking all the dimensions and the images of anything that stays and the home and all the details. And then in this phase, we're basically regurgitating back to them their desires and functionally what they need from this design, as well as, of course, layering in our concepts, our creativity, our ideas for the design. So we put together a mood board, a floor plan, and a line-by-line budget based on that functional flow, that floor plan, what we're thinking is going to happen. Here, we want to check in before we start shopping individual items, before we start getting, like, falling in love with specific fabrics or concepts. We want to check in with the client at this point, reconfirm the layout, reconfirm the aesthetic direction, again, mood boards, couple samples, couple finishes, just something high level to say like, okay, we're on the same page. And this is where the budget is so important. So we build out a budget. Early in the process, we have given them a really high level approximate estimate of what design looks like with our firm for a project of their size and scope. Here we're bringing it down to like sofa, end tables, you know, tearing out that wall, whatever, all the things. Here we're really breaking it down and we're getting buy-in, signature off on that budget once again. That's conceptual.
Perfect. Okay, and the next phase is detailed design. So tell us a little bit about this phase.
So detailed design is where we take the concept and the layout and the budget and we turn it into an actual, like we make it into a reality, right? So every single item is selected, every single finish, every detail is drawn, all of it, right? All the mood boards, all the proposals, everything is priced, everything is proposed. The CAD is all completed, right? All the design, all the components that go into design are happening in detailed design. Again, we have buy-in on the aesthetics, we have buy-in on the layout, we have buy-in on the budget. We do not deviate from what we have buy-in on. We come in on budget, on time, with the design as we discussed, right? So we need to nail conceptual. We need to be in love with conceptual because we're not going anywhere. We're staying right there in detail. So that when we get to that detailed design presentation with all of those components and we pitch one design, we do not give them options. It's one completely cohesive, completely designed, completely priced design. When we come in with that, we are on budget, on aesthetic, on layout, and really there's nothing to talk about as far as, I always say to them, we're on budget so we can just focus on the pretty. Like just dive into these details because you don't have to worry about the numbers. We already had that conversation. We already signed off on it. Do you see how beautiful this meeting can be? This is a good meeting for all the snacks and their favorite cup of coffee and all the things, because it's a long one. You're going through all the details. And at the end of this meeting, you're asking for a sale. You're asking for them to place the orders for all the furnishings and all the things, right? We do offer 1 round of revisions in conceptual and in detailed. And that keeps us honest, right? They obviously can decide they don't like that one thing or those couple things or quite a lot of things, right? But when we have 1 round of revisions in conceptual, we know we're on the right track. And then same thing in detail. We're just making swaps and edits here. We are not in detail. We do not roll back on any of our pre-decided. So we're not messing with the layout, we're not messing with the budget, and we're not messing with the overall aesthetic direction. So that keeps us honest as well. That would require a new timeline and a new design fee and a new budget if we were starting to mess with layout or anything like that, because we would need to we'd be going all the way back. So you can see again how detailed, how nuanced, how clear this process is, and how just systematic. Like, it really moves you through. It feels like you're going through a car wash. You just get on the thing, put it in neutral, and you come out clean.
Which is such a benefit to an entrepreneur, so that you can A, focus on the creative, and B, no details of a very detailed process falls through the crack.
Exactly. Yes, I love this. Again, we're the backbone. We're the baseline. Like, you get to go zing off and be creative and bring the most incredible designs to this, because you are going to sleep through the night knowing that the next steps and the next steps and the next steps, like the request for quotes are out. Every single fabric is getting a CFA. We're triple checking that the sofas will fit through the doorways, because there's a task that reminds us to do that. Like, it's all in there so that you can just go be your best creative self.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Okay, so then we're on to purchasing and execution. What happens in this phase?
So purchasing, we get all those amazing orders, 100% deposit up front, including tax and freight. I'll teach you how. And we're placing all those orders, right? This is the moment of, again, if you did detailed design per hour, step by step by step, placing the orders is a snap. It should just be placing them. Like, everything should be done. It's taking that proposal and putting it into a purchase order. That should be happening in your software, and you should be able to just hit email and it goes right out, and then they confirm, you're sending checks, you're sending payments, like, we're rolling, we're purchasing, right? Then we get into execution. Obviously, purchasing is also obviously expediting everything, following up on everything. That's all systematized, so that there's no guesswork and there's no like, have we heard back on if they got that check for the sofa? Like, every order that goes out gets followed up on, gets acknowledged, gets an estimated, ETA, and then based on that ETA, has like a rhythm of follow-up. Like, it might be once a month until we're within a week of when it's due. It might be once every 3 months if it's like being made overseas and it's going to take literally forever. It might be once a week if it's in stock and we're just like, did it ship, right? Everything's going to our warehouse, everything's getting checked in. They have a whole list of what's coming. Don't blindside your warehouse with like a house full of furniture and they don't know what's happening. But again, it's all in there. And then execution is starting anything that has to do with like changing the structure of the home on site. So getting obviously you've already been working with the contractors all the way through. If there's a contractor involved, if there's trades involved, they've been involved all the way through. Again, leads you right through when you engage them, how you speak to them, how that whole thing works. And you're starting to get the job site beautified and fixed up and renovated, whatever it is, built from scratch, whatever it is you're doing, so that all the furnishings are being on order and they're getting collected into the warehouse, and everything is going to tie out and finish up and get delivered into a beautiful end product.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
So seamless. It always goes so seamless.
Yeah.
Prepare for the crazy. We do. We always have we're ready for the unexpected.
Yes, this is where our punch list template lives and all that fun stuff.
And all the follow-up, just because you have to follow up on everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we get to the part where we are installing, which we have a template for that too, and everything's in, the clients are happy, we have photographs, and then we're at client wrap-up. What happens here?
So wrap-up is really about, it's your victory dance. You're like, we did it, we're done, let's take the photography, send a beautiful gift, say thank you to your clients, handwritten thank you note, We have an email that goes out that really says like, your project is complete. Here's some maintenance tips on the new finishes and furnishings that we've, sent over. We are your contact for any warranties. We hold the warranties as the purchaser. So let us know if you have any issues. We will be your advocate and in touch with whoever we need to be in touch with to make it right. Care maintenance, advocate. But again, that email is like a beautiful wrap up, and it's also really important when you're on a flat fee to announce the end of the project, right? I've heard so many designers that are like, they feel like they own me. Now we're into a lampshade in this room and a paint color over here, and I'm like, no, project wrap. Like, you need to say out loud, this is now complete. Thank you so much. We are done, right? And that is all templated and beautiful. And again, let them know how to maintain their home, how to contact you, that you hold the warranties, all the details.
Mm-hmm. And at this point, we're also creating them a coffee table book.
Yes, yeah. One of our favorite gifts, if we photograph the job, which we try to photograph all the jobs, is a beautiful coffee table book. It's bound on the side with House of Funk and their family name, and then beautiful images of their home. We obviously inscribe it with like, it was so amazing to work with you, blah, blah, blah. And then it's a beautiful piece for them. They love having the photography like in their hands, something that they can keep forever of their home. And they also love to show it off to their friends. Their friends who probably have a nice home that needs to be decorated, right? Yeah, that's right. So it's a beautiful gift, and it's beautiful marketing as well.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Alrighty, guys. Well, the secret to a full service design process is to have a process.
That's right. The big, hairy, audacious secret is that you need to document every single step. You need to refine it. You need to revise it. You need to get it in the right order. You need to remove any duplication of efforts. You need to make sure the right team member is doing the right task at the right time. And then once you get that all streamlined and all documented and all figured out, you need to repeat that for every single project from here until the day you retire. Mm-hmm. And that, my friends, is how your clients will love you and your profits will soar.
And if you're thinking, Sandra, I need a fast track, I don't got time for that.
Yeah, if you don't have like 2 years to do all that, then you should join the standard because I did it all for you. No problem. I got you back.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you for joining us today.
Cheers. I'll see you guys next time.
Cheers.
Thank you.